What you think doesn't matter. Oh, ouch, right? That hurts. But sometimes it's totally true. Let me give you a perfect example. There was some huge earthquakes, I think it was about 15 years ago over in Pakistan. And so a bunch of people in the United States thought, oh man, those poor people, how can we help? They obviously live in the mountains. It's extremely cold. Let's send over a bunch of warm clothing. We'll buy really nice gear, these big North Face parkas that are made for the coldest conditions on earth, and we'll send over a whole bunch of sweaters and hats and beanies and gloves. We'll make sure those people stay warm. So then someone went over there later and was trying to do some humanitarian work, and guess what they found? They went into these remote villages where these people had been affected the most by the earthquake, and they walked up to their villages and they looked down as they were cooking their food. They noticed they were burning the sleeve off a North Face parka. They were burning the coats. They were burning the gloves and the hats. And they're like, what's going on here? Like, that's a $400 parka and you're burning it. The people didn't need warm clothes. They live in the cold mountains. They had all that. What they needed was fuel. They didn't have any way to prepare food. And so in instances like that, you guys, what you and I think doesn't matter. And it happens all the time where we lose context, or we don't have the big picture, or we get so narrow-minded or so focused in on something we're passionate about or excited about or just sometimes stubborn about, that and it sounds kind of rude, it sounds kind of harsh, right? But in a reality check, if we're off target, then what we think doesn't matter. And it's interesting when we're doing, like I'm doing like life and business coaching, right? High performance coaching, and it happens to me as well in other circumstances, where if you're going into a situation where you're unfamiliar or you're unprepared or you don't understand the big picture or best practices, then all of our ideas, let's say I go into a situation, right, where I don't understand the best practices. There's people performing here at a mediocre level, and then there's people just crushing it, right? And so I go into a meeting with, or I meet somebody who's just crushing it, right? And my ideas are down here, and I'm like, well, why aren't you validating my ideas? And this is what I think we should do, and we should do this, and we should do this. And the whole while, without me knowing it, I'm operating inside these parameters of mediocrity. And this person's like, well, to be totally frank and honest, what you think doesn't matter. Oh, right? And it seems to hurt the ego in the reality check. But I wanted to share this principle because it's crazy important. If I go into a situation or a circumstance or an opportunity where what I think doesn't matter, I want to know that. You with me on this? Like, this is so critical. I want to know if my thinking's way off, so that I can raise my level of thinking. Some people have the audacity, if they met Warren Buffett, they'd try to give him their 2 cents about investing, right? And he's one of the greatest investors to ever live. Or, give Jeff Bezos, who runs Amazon, give him some tips about how to run a business and do fulfillment, right? And the guy's worth like $175 billion. But we have to get to this place where we realize, and again, it's hard because we don't know what we don't know. And that's when we get thinking and we think, why? And we get these opinions, right? We're really opinionated. We should do this, and we should do this, and we should do this. And then somebody who sees it up here says, well, actually, we're not trying to do that. That's off purpose. We're trying to accomplish this over here. And you're like, oh, okay. So it's super valuable to get context for where you're going, because everything in life is 80% philosophy, like beliefs, thinking, vision, understanding, and only 20% action. But if we don't have the right philosophy, if I'm off target, if I'm missing the mark, it's 80% of the game. So all of my actions, all of my ideas, all my little running in circles, my going without ever going anywhere. And if you feel stuck sometimes, you guys, if you feel like you've been trying, you've tried everything and it's just not working, and that doesn't work, and I think I should do this, and you keep coming with these ideas that don't work, we have to look at the philosophy. And in those cases, What you think doesn't matter because it won't change it. So, but not to be misunderstood, please do not understand me here. Of course what you think matters, and of course your opinions matter and your ideas matter. You're filled with genius. Everyone, I believe everyone on this earth has genius. In fact, Emerson said, every single person I meet is my superior in some way, and in that way I can learn from them. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Every single person on this earth has something wonderful and beautiful that they can teach me that I don't know, right? And that is where sometimes what I think doesn't matter, because they've got something they can teach me that I don't know. And then I have something I teach them that they don't know. And so to be humble and to be cognizant that, as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, he's just a brilliant scientist, he said, as the area of our knowledge grows, so too does the perimeter of our ignorance. Let me repeat that. As the area, so that inside the circle, as the area of our knowledge grows, so too does the perimeter of our ignorance. There's so much we don't know. And when we're trying to dabble in what we don't know, a lot of times what we think doesn't matter. And so that's why it's so critical to get top-notch coaches and mentors, leaders, follow people who are modeling the way and with tremendous success. How often are we coming up with our own? And again, please don't misunderstand me. Come up with your own ideas. Be innovative. Be creative. Test them. Try them. But measure what you're thinking. Measure your ideas against the greatest thinkers and leaders of all time, who are holistically successful their whole life, not just successful in one area, because they might be just crushing it over here and to the total neglect of other important things. But the greatest thinkers and leaders who are holistically successful, we need to measure what we're thinking and measure our ideas against that stuff. That's how we can get performance. So if you're getting advice from your neighbors or a group that's just all getting mediocre results, what's going to happen? You're going to have mediocre results. If you're struggling in your marriage and you go around to all your neighbors and say, yeah, what should I do for a marriage? And they all have mediocre marriages, you're going to be there. If you go for financial advice from people who have mediocre at best results financially, then that's what you're going to get. Same with fitness. Are you going to take fitness advice from someone who's out of shape and overweight? And yet, how often are we doing it? Oh, man, this stuff is good. And it seems a little bit painful, but it's actually really exciting and really empowering to realize, wait a minute, sometimes what I think doesn't matter. And I need to listen and learn and be humble and open and teachable. And I don't need to go in with fixed, solid opinions about this is the way things are. I need to go in with an open mind and say, there's probably a lot of things I don't know. And I'm here to learn and grow and level up and change my opinions if I need to. You guys, this is a golden ticket to seriously leveling up your life. So get after it, make it happen. Remember, every day we're training for greatness, right? Every day we are training for greatness. Reach upward.